guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a kind of unboxing review type dealio of this Cave Club Hunch doll that I just picked up from Tesco for £15. Cave Club is a line that's pretty new. It's only been on Amazon for the last couple of months or so. So let's unbox her and take a look. So she pops out of the exterior packaging quite easily, and now we're left with the doll herself in this kind of plastic second layer. I do like that it's quite easy to remove, quite minimal. That is a step up from their predecessor Monster High, whose packaging could be quite infamously difficult to remove. It is quite heavy on the plastic, which is less of a good thing, but I do like that it's easily separatable, so easy to recycle. Now let's finish getting her out of this. We've got a little spyglass type dealio, pops right out. A comb with a little bow, a bow bone, that's quite cute, quite clever. And we've also got this little plastic, just break it off, little pink plastic kind of rock geode formation type thing, and then we've also got her little pet tiger. I want to say tiger, but it could be something else entirely. I'm sure people who know this will be able to shout at me in the comments if I get any. There we go, that's him. And he's got a rotatable head, that's kind of cute. This reminds me of like the littlest pet shop toys I used to play with when I was little. I'm sure like the intended demographic for these toys will probably enjoy them. I like that these little extras were all very easy to remove. They weren't tied in, they were just kind of moulded in. So that's a pro for minimal packaging. Let's unbox the doll herself. And there we have it. I've got all her little ties cut off, which there were mercifully few of. Again, kind of a step up from Monster High in that regard. And she should just now be able to, there we go, pop right out of the packaging. Now let's take a look at her in a bit of more detail. Her hair is this lovely kind of blue colour. I've actually got a project I'm rerouting at the moment. It has a very similar colour to this. It's got a single hair elastic at the bottom. Oh, as you can see there, a bit of hair's come out with it. I don't really know why that was in there, but I find these things extremely useful, so can't complain. Her hair's a decent quality. It's not the same quality as the stuff I buy to reroute my projects with, but for a mass-produced doll line, I'd say it's pretty good. It's comparable to like slightly below Monster High, but slightly above like a My Little Pony toy. It might need a bit of brushing to look properly good. I can try using this toy comb that came with it. Glides through quite nicely. Initially there was a bit of hair falling out, but it might have just been because it was stuck to the elastic. She seems to not be shedding a great deal. Yeah, there's a lot of little straggles just kind of all over her, but that's to be expected when you've got a large body of hair like this. The hair is a little choppy in places. I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but there are areas where it's clearly a lot shorter than the rest. Like that's a good extra inch that this end bit has there. I might trim that up later. And I can't see where it would be coming from. And there's a part of her kind of, I honestly have no idea what to call this other than a sticky uppy bit, that has not gelled into place properly and is just kind of flapping into the main ponytail. Let's go over the doll in her entirety first. She's got lovely blue hair with some, they're a lot more purple in person. On camera they kind of look white, but she has purpley pink streaks in her hair. They match her box art quite closely. And then she's got a really cute face in my opinion. She doesn't, some of the newer doll lines I found have ugly faces, but I like this style. It's quite similar again to the Monster High style. But one noticeable improvement I can see on it is that, I don't know if this is going to focus on her well enough, but her eyebrows actually have individual hairs painted into them. Yeah, that's about as good as that's gonna get. Her eyebrows actually have individual hairs painted into them instead of just being a line of colour, which I think is a good thing, especially considering this line has thick eyebrows. It kind of reminds me of that film The Croods, came out a couple of years ago. But yes, her face is really cute. She has lots of little sparkles and facial details, which I think are quite nice, give it a bit of expression. The entire face is printed pretty well, which is quite good. There's none of the issues that I've been seeing happening a lot with the other Mattel lines, like the Barbie Fashionistas. There's no issues where areas of paint have just not applied to the face. It is well coated all over. And now let's get onto the clothes. On her shoulders we have these pink kind of ragged mesh tulle, I don't quite know how to describe it, ruffles. And they're attached to a small pink ribbon. I'm not really a fan of these. They're jagged in such a small scale, it doesn't really work and they end up kind of looking almost fluffy. They're okay, I guess. Then we have her dress. I was gonna get the purple haired doll from this line. Her name has slipped my mind. I will probably put a photo up here on screen somewhere of the one I'm talking about. The Tesco I was at had them both, but what made me want to buy this girl over the other was this lovely little dress. I'll take the belt off. Oh yeah, she has a belt. It's actually quite nicely moulded, individual, different loops attached with a crescent moon, a star, what looks like some geodes, and a bag, all individually sculpted on, which is quite nice. And the belt is actually sculpted into 3 individual strands, which have been bound together. I'll pop that off so we can look at her dress. I really like this dress. Aside from the obvious animal print, which is going to be a pretty staple motif in a series of dolls based around cavemen, but I really like the fade and the variety of colours, the pink, blue and purple. That's always a nice colour scheme. And I think the blue goes well with her hair, I don't think it clashes too much. And this fluffy little skirt. It kind of sort of reminds me of Honey Swamp, the original Honey Swamp doll. Her skirt, I'll put another photo on. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of her skirt, but it's a lot fuller. I think it works better than Honey's did, because Honey's felt like weird feathers, but this actually feels well, like full and fluffy, and works as quite a good underskirt. Oh yeah, the skirt is unhemmed at the bottom. It has a jagged hem and it's not folded over anything, whereas the top is hemmed, but I'm not sure if you can see that. It is folding over on itself a little bit, but that's probably just due to the tiny scale that this is on. I'll mention it again later, but these dolls are very small. And then we have all of the dolls, I believe, are barefoot, but they all have these very nice ankle cuffs. I'm not really sure what else to call them. And they're very intricately sculpted all the way around. They've got all sorts of little tokens on them and the geode pattern and the stars. So there's a consistent star pattern running the whole way down this doll, from the facial details to, where is it? The belt to the ankles. So that's quite nice. That's consistency. Yeah, it's sculpted the whole way around. It is just one block of plastic colour, same as the belt and the comb. So I think the details could be brought out a little more if there were multiple colours, so I might end up painting her later, but you never know. And of course she has quite large bare feet. That's something that does contrast her to like traditional Barbie dolls. They usually have very tiny feet, whereas she has large. I'll see in a minute if they enabled her to actually stand on her own. She has the geode theme again running through this headband. It is rubber banded into her hair, which leads me to believe it would probably not stay if I were to take the band out. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like. I only prefer when the accessories can stay in without the rubber bands. It's the same issue I have with Barbie shoes. Half of them just fall off unless you keep them rubber banded on. That's probably not really an issue for most people. But anyway, let's have a look at the whole doll overall. Put her in the T-pose to assert dominance and show her to the camera. on to the reason I bought this doll in the first place. The articulation. It's kind of a growing trend for fashion dolls coming out at the moment to not have very well articulated bodies. And quite a lot of the Disney dolls at the moment they're coming out with don't have articulation. With the exception of the limited editions and the coronation / show yourself, you know what I mean, I'll put the photo up. 2-pack, I don't believe any of the Frozen 2 dolls had full articulation. There's a lot of doll lines coming out that aren't very well articulated, especially within Mattel and Barbie. Made to Move is pretty much the only Barbie line coming out at the moment that is actually well articulated. If you're not getting a Made to Move doll, you're probably not getting any articulation at all. And it was such a small doll as well, like the K-pop dolls are very tiny compared to others. To have full articulation like this, it makes me very happy. The head can turn from side to side, she has movement at the shoulder, she has articulation at the shoulder, good range of motion there, can turn full 360, and she has articulation at the wrist. And she has movement at the hip. Once again, it's pretty stiff, but that's because I'm sure it'll loosen up. And articulation at the knee, going slightly more than a 90-degree right angle there. And for the moment of truth, does she stand alone? Yes, she does. I'm going to compare the Cave Club Punch doll to various other similar fashion, I suppose she calls it technically a fashion doll despite her size, dolls in size and articulation. The LOLONG doll. They have similar articulation in the elbows, wrists, shoulder, everything. And the difference is that LOLOMG of course have the bend and snap knee. And you can really see when I position them next to each other just how large the Cave Club girls' feet are compared. The BMR 1959 doll. As you can see, significantly larger. Put this up in the corner just so you can get a size comparison. As you can see, the doll stands around 8 inches tall, pushing it up to 10 with her hair spike. You can see a monster high body, quite an old one by the sun damage. You can see they have basically identical articulation. You can kind of tell these dolls were made by the same company from just the way they are. But yes, now let's redress the doll while my voiceover plays reading some info from the back of the box. Meet Cave Club trademark, a truly unruly group of prehistoric first friends. Let's put her in a little dab to be done with it. I realised I never actually showed the back of the box before I tore it to pieces, so I figured I'd just give you a quick overview before I start talking about it. As you can see, the doll closely resembles the box art of her character, apart from the belt, which I had apparently forgotten to put back on her. I like what they did with the skirt. They could have easily just printed a feather pattern onto cotton fabric similar to what the rest of the dress is made of. But no, they actually made it out of this fluffy cotton stuff, and although it sheds everywhere, I appreciate that it's not just another printed design, which is something we've been seeing a lot of lately with dolls, even ones that are supposed to be a bit higher quality and limited edition, so I do appreciate this, Mattel. But yeah, I've been excited for these dolls since their release because it is quite a rarity to see a smaller articulated doll, especially coming from Mattel. So thank you for watching this review of the Cave Club Tella doll. I really like this little doll, and I have good hopes for this line. I hope it doesn't just kind of fizzle out like certain other lines we've seen from Mattel lately. Wild Hearts Crew. Tickle on the foot there. But yes, since this doll has actually got a UK release, unlike certain other lines, that does give me a little bit of hope. And anyway, thank you for watching my unboxing / review / absolute shambles. In the description you will find a link to both my Instagram and TikTok, as well as my Etsy shop, where you can find doll clothes, which I make currently for Barbies, but you never know, in the future there might be other lines, wink wink nudge nudge, getting a few clothes in. And anyway, Thanks for watching and goodbye.